YouTube YouTube channel for everyone's information. This is the a regular meeting of the Piti Municipal and Council Association, and it is 6:01, and I would like to call this meeting to order. Roll call: Owen Bollinger.
Present.
Faye Carbolito. Yvette Cruz.
Present.
Michael Evio.
Present.
Jennifer Gumatanta. Jolene Leon Guerrero. Lillian Manuel.
Present.
Deborah Kenya.
Present.
Kimberly Shepard.
Present.
Joseph Pennington. There are 7 members present and we do have a quorum. I want to welcome our guests tonight. This is a Piti Municipal and Council Association meeting, so it really is it's really just a group discussing our matters. And the agenda was published in the PDN twice, and it is a live stream. And so we've really forgone most of our agenda today to go straight to new business to talk about the USO, the former USO proposals. Okay, so what I'd like to remind the members is that the Hoover Park Annex, what it's actually called, is being returned to the government of Guam. It is not yet property of the PD Mayor's office. It is still in the process of being returned. And it is our hope, it is really only our hope, that the property will be returned to, or will be given to the PD Mayor's office. I would like to also say that the property, once it is returned to the government of Guam completely, still has to go through a process of ancestral lands research. And so there are possibilities where landowners will come forward to claim their rights to the property. It is up to the government of Guam to figure out how that is going to transpire. So before we can actually do anything on that property, all of that needs to happen, and all of that has to go through its course through the legal process. And that's what's going on now. And so the reason why we have this on our new business is because these 3 entities have come to us with proposals. And I think it is worth the time to listen to what they have to say. No decisions will be made at this meeting about what, who will be using that property, because there is an official process for that. And this is not the official process. So it's kind of like a listening session to see what the 3 have to say. So I just ask everyone to be open to what they have to share with us. And of course, we have that the chance to ask questions if we have to. Again, this is the first time we're hearing this, so this is not going to be the last. And again, this is not the official process. This is just an informal listening of their proposals. Okay, any questions from the members at this time? Okay, thank you. And we don't know how long this process is going to take, right? So again, this it's at the governor's office, and however the governor and her staff and the officials need to take to let this go through the process, that's what it's going to be. We can only, like I said, hope that it's going to be transferred. Okay, and so then the three proposals that we have, we're going to take it from the very beginning, from the first ones that came to us. So if we can have JG and Charles McJohn, Tia is up in the front, and if you could stand up there before us, that would be great. Tia, can you give me this microphone? Oh, do you have another? Oh, let's go.
Okay, how's the day? Piti Municipal Planning Council members, thank you for sharing your time with us. My name is Charles McJohn, Junior, Talpal Maleso. This is my good friend, Mr. JG, Talpal PT. And we're here to present to you, Jay is helping out on some stuff, but this is something that's been my dream for a long time. For years now, we've been trying to get off the ground, and I just hope that it is something that we can share together going into this incredible space. Just to preface this, I learned to swim at USO Beach 35 years ago. So to come full circle in 35 years would be stuff out of storybooks. I really hope this does come to fruition. But if you don't bear with me, we do have a presentation, and we brought our own TV. We got kind of fancy, so hopefully you guys enjoy, and then we can get to questions.
Charles, can I just interrupt you real quick? So we're gonna allow 15 minutes for each of the three presenters. So if you have
Absolutely.
Okay, cool, thank you.
We'll do it in 9.5.
Great.
Okay, so in 15 minutes, we're gonna get right into it. Our concept is very similar, not similar, excuse me, is very simple. Splash PD Village, right? The USO Beach was a place of leisure and recreation in the 70s, 80s, and 90s for many families here on the island, including our service members. And what we're looking to do is bring that back. The problem on Guam that we have is when we have these great ideas, there's not enough revenue or interest in things to upkeep an area like USO Beach. 5 acres, 10,000 square feet, over 60 parking stalls, inclusive of Santos Park next door. What you have to think to yourselves is who's gonna keep the interest and the revenue up while giving back to the village of PD to maintain these facilities for years to come. And that would be something that we are very, very expert at. So essentially, Guam's current situation, local military families who have been locked down for over 2 years are looking for affordable recreation in a safe and sanitary place. Social distancing requires a large spread out area with lots of options and configurations in an outdoor environment that the virus cannot survive in. That's been a challenge for many of the businesses on Guam, many of the tourist businesses, many of the local businesses that haven't been able to stay open. PD needs an attraction that can service the community with restaurants, family recreation, and business development to infuse the community with options for families to flock to. Make this a destination. Our solution, ladies and gentlemen, an inflatable aqua park. In over 97 countries around the world, almost every country around the world that has access to waters, to man-made lakes, to rivers, to oceans, bays, coves, they have inflatable aqua parks. This is a jumping apparatus where families can come, kids, military personnel, grandma and grandpa, anyone can get in the water, get on our jumpers, go on slides, go through obstacles, and have a great time. And if you look here, our ideal location, of course, is USO. Revitalizing not just the ocean area, but also bringing to life the facility once again, to be what we consider the PD Community Development Center. So in order to bring back the entire place, you need an area that our attraction can serve as an anchor, and we can bring interest, revenue, and people, while developing the building to be a community center or a community area with other interests from other businesses, where local vendors can bring fruits, vegetables, things to sell, where the village of PD can convene in a major way to have the community support everyone from the village. So again, what we're looking at is Asia Pacific's largest inflatable aqua park. It would incur about 82,000 square feet on the water, which is 2 acres. We're looking at 40 attractions, including slides, water wheels, blobs, swings, climbing iceberg, and a fun city for smaller kids as well. So our attractions attract everything from kids 1 year old to the 92-year-old go-getter who wants to test his youth. And then the most important thing too is that the way that we can configure the apparatus is that there's thousands of options that we can reconfigure so that there doesn't create any bottlenecking. There's no lining up. It's not a water slide at PIC or onward. It's an obstacle course and it's a fun course for people to have beach recreation redefined, right? We got to think towards the future of how do we have fun at the beach? It's not about partying and leaving our trash or just hanging out on the shore. We need to think of something that will get the kids tired, have a great day, something memorable. I mean, they've been locked up for 2 years. Let's let mom and dad have a night, you know? Get the kids tired, go out and enjoy the ocean. Absolutely. So again, if you look here, we took one of these classic nostalgia pictures from the 80s. I think that was Jay when he was like 5 running around there. And, you know, USO Beach started as floating barges and beach recreation. We're just giving you that.
It's still beautiful. Really, it's still beautiful. You know, that thing was a barge.
Absolutely.
Okay? And it's still nice.
Still nice.
It's still nice.
It is.
Absolutely.
So why you gotta build it up? Do that natural.
Oh, absolutely. No, we're not. We're not looking at doing anything that will be intrusive, and that's we'll get into
You
that.
guys try to make business on that area. I was born here. Raised here.
John, hold on, John.
Yes, so again,
We're just listening, John.
our idea would be to, you know, bring back ocean recreation. That's what it is. Bring the families back to the USO Beach. So our operations would bring renewed energy and acclaim and develop the Piti Community Development Center. That's what it's about. But we also need to think in a mindset where something that you put in there has to generate enough revenue and interest to supply the municipality and to keep facilities upkept. It's a travesty when we go to places like EPAL. The bathrooms are locked and run down, the trash is everywhere, the pavilions are falling apart. And that's the issue. I went to Southern High. I know about a $135 million school that wasn't going to be maintained. The initial funding and the idea, oh, everybody's all for it. But the maintenance of it was what happened. Now there's tilapia in the swimming pool I used to swim in at Southern High. So, you know, it's about keeping that interest level and having things able to be maintained throughout the duration of whatever is going to be put in there. And that's not just coming from us as an entity, that's for whoever else is presented today. Can they keep that interest up? Will it fizzle out in 6 months? Will you guys be upset with your choice in 6 months? And that's something you really truly have to consider. So again, we'll keep going. Again, market analysis is that currently 82% of all businesses rely on the tourist market for most of their revenue. That is not what we're about. We are not fisheye. We are looking to attract locals and military personnel, families. A significant portion of these have ceased operations during COVID anyway. And we'd be able to turn a significant profit from strictly local and military customers while expanding and building onto the facility and making it the center for life in Piti. The rates we would offer and the founding discounts we would give would be a great alternative to Japanese-owned water parks in Tumon and Tumuning, demanding hundreds of dollars a day for fun. This wouldn't what we were about. Now, a December poll found that locals and tourists looking for family-friendly leisure activities that invoke our island paradise. Now, especially from the 2 markets expected to return, that's something we have to do. But infusing Piti with a definite infusion of interest and something that's safe, practical, fun, and family-friendly is what we're looking at. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jay. I took the tough part. And he's going to explain to you the site map we have here for master plan for Piti.
All right, thank you. Municipal Council, thank you very much for hearing us. Can they hear us? Okay. So anyways, in the Piti Park area, the idea of the PCDC, the Piti Community Development Center, which is the main facility, number 5, is basically the main facility that'll be renovated, I've did some initial assessments, but it'll take about $500,000 to bring it up to code and fix it up because it's been down for so long. But really, the Splash PD Village will only occupy maybe about 300 square foot of the building. Most of the facility will be on the outer section. So the other vendors, F&B, Scuba, whatever, can also sublease in the main facility. So PCDC is the main parent leaseholder, which would be with the village. And basically, for lack of better words, Splash PD Village will be a anchor tenant. And that's how the idea of generating revenue with all additional tenants that would be interested in the space would generate revenue for the village as well as the businesses. Number six here is basically a new entrance bridge. It's actually an existing bridge that's there next to the Route 1. It used to be a car bridge, but you know, you use it as the regular walking bridge between Pedro Santos Park and Hoover Park. So they have a connection between the two facilities without having to go on Marine Drive. So additionally, we would want to renovate the landscape Maso River, create like a walkway or
Boardwalk.
river walk type of situation, and also clean up all the trash and increase security. That's pretty much about it. But without Splash Village, we can't do PCDC. That's all I got.
So basically what Jay's saying, yeah, is that we need to have something again there that can generate enough people, traffic, interest, and money. You know, we see how well, actually we're very impressed, we see how well Pedro Santos Park is kept. It's immaculate. And what we could do, the idea would be to do the bush cutting, the bathrooms, the restrooms, the facilities together and make it one existing entity. Much like Fisheye, they use the public parking, they use the pavilions, divers use everything there, and that all belongs to the government, but we don't know who's maintaining what. This would be a pure partnership within, you know, with the municipal planning council's permission to go between the park and the USF. So it's definitely something we're looking forward to. And so next, just to alleviate concerns, we want to bring up the consultant, Mr. JR, to talk about environmental impact.
So mainly because we're using facilities that are already existing and nothing will be placed on that has a foundation or anything like that. Everything can be removed right away. Keeping the integrity of the environment is exactly what we want. We want no additions that will affect the view of our guests or the people that live on Guam to be negatively affected by what we did when we were there. So no trees will be removed, no areas will be built, everything by wood only, so that we maintain the integrity of the environment. Also, we're using the FAT system, which is the Fish Aggregate Device Platform. So that one, basically every bouncer underneath it would be placed in algae system to attract little fish, who in turn will attract bigger fish, revitalizing the entire area. The goal is to maintain the look of an island for our guests that fly here and our guests that live here. And that maintaining that level of the integrity of the environment is important to Charles and Jay. In fact, even the way we're mounting, I mean, I'm sure everyone here is worried about how we're going to connect to the ocean floor. We're using sandbags only. No outside particulates will be placed in the ocean to affect the ecosystem where we're gonna be placed. So all sand will be from that area, and then it's what they call quick release. We pull it, and the bag opens, all the sand returns back. No outside particulates. And that's also great because when we have a typhoon, which heaven forbid we do have, we can easily remove, in total, what you saw, which was 28,000 square feet of bouncer, can be removed in 2.5 hours. So we can remove it, put it back, including everything on land, outside of course, your community center. And that one, we're gonna focus on building based on what we have there. So the goal is to keep the integrity of what we have, but build on top of it.
So again, yeah, just to touch on what JR said, our eyeball and our tie downs are made of marine grade bungee rope, stainless steel. Nothing, these are things that boats use. You know, we're not anchoring, we're not dragging anchors, we're not doing anything, drag netting, anything that would affect the ocean floor. You know, right now it's TUV certified at the highest level, which means the vinyl that these jumpers are made of is at a level that is in Europe the highest for expansion and contraction, and that releases nothing into the ocean. And the beauty of it is, again, in a total of, like he said, 2.5 hours and then 3 hours to fold up and put away, in 6 hours, we can remove everything and it looked like we were never there, honestly. And you know, that would even be something where seasonally, it might be an idea to say, hey, it's a lot of squalls, maybe we pull it back, opening it up to the public. Could be a possibility. So it becomes like setting up a canopy in your yard. You know, you're not putting anything permanent, you're not laying foundation. You can take that canopy, send the young boys out, take it down, put it in the backyard. That's the reality of it. So, you know, I have a short video just to give you guys an idea of sort of what it is. This is in Perth, Australia, and this is from the same supplier, similar size. And so I just want you. Everyone wears life jackets on our apparatuses, and safety is paramount. We would have 7 lifeguards. We'd be giving jobs to PD and to the people in the community. So all in all, we have about 30 people running the park on a daily. These are jobs in the community, working outside for young people or anybody who wants it. Again, you can see on this drone shot, so it's very wide, spread out. And you know, the ocean is a natural salient for the virus. It's not, you know, we spray alcohol on our sand with it, but salt water is the same thing. So that's Coolum. And basically, you know, in conclusion, yeah, we're humbly asking you. I know that, you know, we had the gentleman who was concerned earlier, but these are unprecedented times, right? We're asking you guys to consider our business for commercially sold. It's not an invasive business. We're not asking for 99 years. We're not putting anything in the ocean that's permanent with cement, with, you know, along the fisheye lines, and not giving back to the community. We're the opposite. And so, you know, it's going to be that much needed catalyst, not just for Guam, but for the village. Jose Rios Middle School, PD residents, the people of Guam are welcome throughout the year. And this is going to do something great for their morale and something to be proud of. And so we are locally owned and operated. We're not coming from a foreign country. This money's not leaving Guam. This is going to putting, you know, diapers on babies and supporting our children and making it better for the next generation. So again, we're just asking you to give us support and believe in what we want to put there. Again, a world-class facility, a world-class business, that's locally owned and operated. Okay, so I thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles. Members, does anyone have any quick questions for them at this point? Just remember again that this is really a listening session, and no decisions will be made. We certainly have their contact numbers, and we certainly can have, send them questions as well, if that should come up. But if there are any questions now that you'd like to ask them, we can do that.
With the current USO building, that was building number 5, is that correct?
Yes, that was
Yes.
on
Right.
slide.
Would you be managing that and all the tenants who might be in there, or who would have purview over that structure?
That's an interesting question, and I think that that's something we'd have to sort out with the mayor and yourselves. It might be, that might be something that would be part of the negotiations going forward.
Okay, so,
So
but that's,
all of that, actually, just so that you know, we don't know what's coming back to us. Because again, the process is still not finalized. So we don't know what portions of that property are either going to no longer be a part of the government and what is going to be returned to original landowners. We don't know how that's going to be handled. So again, this is really, we don't know. So, and then of course, if it is returned to us, or if it's given to the mayor's office, then certainly part of what our bid requirements will be stipulated. So we would be the ones to determine the usage of the facilities, the usage of the property.
okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And again, just like the mayor said, that's something that's down the line and that we can figure out as we go along.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, literally.
Right. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Questions?
Oh, you did?
So in anticipation of getting the entire property back, and if you have the leasehold saying it turns out that you have the building and the whole space going up to Thompson's Park, what does this mean for public access? So is this going to be a controlled environment where you mentioned being the primary tenant, developing the building space and opening shops, tenants? So is it going to be some sort of controlled access part where the public is going to have to come in at a gate? Or will people be able to go to the beach? I think like the water polo guys right now will go out there in that space. Will they still be able to access that without?
Absolutely. So if you look at our master plan, we put it on there. So if you look here, there's the water polo, there's the barge, there's the kiddie one, the bigger one. And in all honesty, if you look at the size of and scale of the USO property, we don't need to control anything. Our bouncer system is there's controlled entrances at 4 different sections there. You have to have a ticket or a wristband to go out to there. It's not Disneyland. We're not going to own the park and turnstile it.
Okay.
Absolutely not. If the public wants to use the beach, they can. If grandma and grandpa want to come sit back under the mango tree and take a look-see at Boboy jumping off the slide, yeah, that's fine with us. We're not going to be over demanding in terms of usage of the facility. Obviously, there will be security, which is something that we can provide, and that's important. So people aren't drinking near young women or anything on the beach, or, we want to control that aspect of it. Safety is number one. But in terms of usage and utilization, there's a lot of beach to be used. In fact, Jay and I were talking and we said, the water polo can be there, people can still launch off and do scuba. It wouldn't affect anything. And because we have our buoys all around the entire apparatus, we're not bothering anyone. Of course, with like speedboats or jet skis, that's a different idea because, they lose control. We don't want anyone to get hurt.
Anyone else? No? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
If there was anything that you could share with us, I'm not sure if you're willing to send the presentation to us, but if there's anything else that you'd like for the council to consider, if you can just email it to me, and then, we can share it with them.
Absolutely. That shouldn't be a problem.
Great, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I don't know who I'm gonna call up from the science exploration center. There's so many smart people here. But if you could all, yeah, Christine. But if you could all come up with whoever at whatever point we can have it. And you can use the microphone.
So we have something prepared, if you would be willing to take one and pass it around. We were told that there would
We're trying
not
to use the
be.
microphone because of the recording or the live streaming. That would be great. Thank you.
Yes.
Tell us who you are because unless you're all gonna speak.
Hello. Am I on?
You are.
So I'm Lori Raimundo. I'm the director of the Marine Lab. And what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit today is
Could you
sort
move
of
to
a,
the center if you don't? Because the computer is right there. There, now we can all see you.
kind of a lifelong dream. I would like to introduce this small team of people that I've managed to drag into being convinced that this is also a good idea. So Mike McHugh used to work for Underwater World. He is the only person on island that has any direct experience with some of the things that we're talking about with this. This is Farah Tyrone, who's a man of all trades and interested in community outreach and is a very public persona and increasing his public persona. This is Fran Castro of Sea Grant, UOG, and she will also speak about their role, their potential role in this project. And then Kathleen Morin, who is the executive director of UOG's Research Corporation. And she will also have a few things to say about this.
Okay.
So you have in front of you much earlier ideas than the ones that were just presented. This is a concept we've been talking about, but we don't have the plans yet. We are planning on writing a planning grant to take some time to develop, to get people together, to get building plans and everything. But basically, what you've got in front of you are the very early ideas about the creation of a science exploration center for Guam. So this is a very interactive place. It's a building where kids, families of all ages can interact with the science that's going on Guam and in the Marianas. So people will learn about their ecosystems, they will learn about limestone forests, they will learn about our rivers and coral reefs and all of the interactions between them. They can learn about our aquifers and various other things that we depend on. And they will learn about the Marianas Trench and a bunch of other things. So interactive centers like this are different from Underwater World, where it's the majority is aquaria. This is going to be interactive things that children can touch and play with and experience. So it's a very user-friendly building that is full of facilities that will teach kids things and will bring families together. Obviously, it will be a place where tourists can come also, but the main thrust is a place where local people can come together and strengthen their community bonds with their island. We have a variety of ideas for making this self-sufficient and self-sustaining. Obviously, it will create a certain number of jobs because we will need people to maintain a staff. We will have people that have to act as tour guides and perhaps have snorkeling guides and a nature trail outside. And there are a couple of different options. It doesn't actually depend on the USO building, and Kathleen will speak to that briefly. And it's not actually necessarily in competition with the previous idea. The third page you have there is some ideas for aquaculture. That is one of our concepts, a public-private partnership between UOG as a GovGuam entity and the Piti community as well. And an aquaculture facility that can increase food security, but can also provide some income and some jobs. So we are still thinking about how these different partnerships could work. We're still trying to think of our overall concepts, but basically we want to make use of how unique Guam is and all of the stuff that's going on at UOG and GCC and Bureau of Statistics and Plans and DAWR and all of these other entities, and as well as some of the NGOs that we have here. We have Nature Conservancy, we have U.S. Fish and Wildlife, we have National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration people. And so we want everybody to have a part in this and to teach people about Guam science and hopefully inspire some of our younger generation to be the conservation biologists that we all want them to be and to be more invested in their community. So I'm going to turn it over to Fran now, who will talk about Sea Grant and about their potential role.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having us. So I work at UOG Sea Grant with Austin Shelton, and currently we are running a small science learning center up at UOG where we welcome students to come and learn about marine and terrestrial resources. So we want to try to expand it with this new science exploration center. I think this is like a really great idea to have it at the USO facility because, well, one, it's like close to the water, where we can also bring visitors to come out and snorkel and see the coral reefs and the fish and things like that. But I think it's like an important center to have, especially in like your village. It'll bring people from other villages. It'll be like open to the school kids and even all the way up to the university level to come and learn more about science. We live on an island, and people always like tell me, because of my field in environmental, that there's never enough people that want to learn or protect our resources. And I think having this science exploration center is like key to like really attracting our local kids to learn more about the environment, to care and appreciate about the resources. But that's just one thing, one reason why I would, like to have this exploration center. But also speaking on aquaculture, Sea Grant, that's one of their priorities, and so it's also I think the government's priority. There's a lot of resources. We're going to be graduating into this institutional level, which is like more resources for the community, more research that can be done, and we can put stuff into the we can put resources into the exploration center. And we do a lot of education and outreach. We have our own team that does all the outreach work. So there's a lot of areas where we can be involved in, and we hope that you will consider our proposal. We don't have a plan yet, but these are the things that could happen, and I think it'll be great for your village too.
Thank you, Fran. Hapaday, thank you for having us. So my name is Kathleen Moore-Lynn, and I'm the Executive Director of the Research Corporation at the University of Guam. And so I'm basically the person, if you want more information to talk to about what's the money? How does the financing work? Where do you get these funds? The University of Guam in 2021 received $8.6 million from the Economic Development Administration to build a new wherry facility and a nursing annex. And it's a grant, it's not a loan. We had to come up with a 20% match. And part of the way we did that is we used the value of the land. Because Gov Guam cash flow is always an issue. It will always be an issue. But you do have the value of the land that you can use for your 20%. So, however, that is based on jobs and it's based on needs. And you would have to connect with various industries. And I would say, as you listen to everybody today, that perhaps there's a way to have a consortia of different folks, and how do you incorporate all of these ideas into your development of this very valuable property. And I want to maybe congratulate you in advance to the return of this land to Guam and then hopefully Piti. If you do want to pursue these grant opportunities, they're continuous. They go on all the time, every year. But usually it's 50-50. You're asking 50% from the federal government and you're putting out 50%. But I think we can say the value of that land would be pretty high, right? It does have a high value, and it would have a high value when it's developed. I also, with a team of folks at UOG, because we always work in teams, we were able to successfully enter into a public partnership and lease for the hatchery. So the hatchery at Fidian had been there since the 70s and never really produced. And when it came to the government, we tried and tried, but it really is the private sector that's going to infuse some energy, because the government is
And the
good
know-how.
for a lot of things, but the private sector brings an infusion of energy into any projects that you would consider. I think you're looking maybe 3 to 5 years down the line. And so I congratulate you right now for having this listening session, because there are many ways that you can make this still have added value, but keep that access open to the public, which I also agree is very important. So I'm here if you need to talk to me about how to pursue these things and what steps you would need to take or start looking at them. And I'm here to help this team in creating the business plan, because everything you're going to have some kind of revenue to keep all these places running. So that's all I have to say. So again, thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Lord.
Thank you. So that's about it. You have quite a bit to read, and I understand that you need to absorb that. So if you have any questions, that would be fine, and we are still available at any time. I've given you my card, but I can put you in touch with any of these people as well. So yes, do you have any questions?
Well, I just think I did want to let the council know that it's so funny who mentioned that you work in teams, because I think you guys all came in at different times, and I thought, oh, who do I talk to? But the one thing that I noticed was I had different people come in to talk about something very similar, and so I think the icing on the cake, I think, was Mr. Tibbetts here, who came in and he
Yes.
finally. We were talking about Mossa Reservoir, and when he just went on about something similar like this, and then of course we're going to hear from Tommy-san afterwards, who almost kind of didn't have the science part, but he had something that could connect to this. And then of course we've talked to Farron before. We're working with Farron now, so we know what he does. And I just thought, okay, that there has to be, we can put a connection to all of these groups.
Yes.
And I'm thankful that we're open to others, because the one thing that I don't want to do is to exclude anyone. And that is really why we're having this, is so that we can talk about it now. We're very hopeful that the property will become Piti property. And so in considering this presentation and others that's going to come, I do want to say that, well, I don't know if I do want to say it, that I am grateful that we are considering the environment. I am grateful that we are considering education. I am grateful that we are considering our people. So however we move on, I've listened to the two so far, if we can continue to remember that. And I'm grateful that we know that money is an object and that we have to consider a viable plan. And I'm sure we'll hear more options later, but I'm glad that you've come to share this with us so that we know who to reach out to. And I think within this group here, they're quiet now, but I know that their minds are going, and they're going to come out with a lot of questions. And I know that there's a lot of expertise within this group here that's going to be helpful. I just want to stop there before I say too much. But in this group, from the member side, council, are there any questions or anything you want to ask this group? Anything about this presentation so far?
Is there a master plan for the development? Okay.
There will be for this.
Oh.
This is why we are going to, well, I don't know, for PD, that's, I think, your.
Well, for your proposal, obviously there would be, right?
There
But
will be,
for this
yeah.
property, there is.
Yes, as I said, this is an earlier stage of development.
Right.
Mr. McJohn's discussion, yes.
And I would just add, let me just add, so if that is a consideration, one of the things you could do is a planning grant for this purpose through EDA or other funding source. And Mel Mendiola would be a great help for that as well. Because then you can.
You're hired because you're hired, she's hired. So just for everyone's information, we're hoping that it's going to be included in the sets. I did talk to Mel already. This was included in the previous set because for the planning purposes. And so it is, we just had the meeting last week. And so I've asked to include it again in the coming plan.
Wonderful, so you're already there,
Yeah.
you've already taken that step.
That's the best way to go. Yes.
Anyone else right now? No, you guys are, everyone's okay for now? Okay, are we
Okay.
be hanging around a little bit? Because I know that Tommy-san has something to share.
I can
And
stay,
just
yes.
in case there could be a correlation, if you don't
Yes.
mind. Okay.
Sure.
Thanks, thank you so much, I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then, of course, we have, everyone knows Tommy-san from Fisheye. No?
Oh, yes, now.
Yes, you know, I cannot see them because of COVID.
Yes.
Afternoon. My name is Akihiro Tani. Now I'm 54 years old. I came here at 27.
Oh, yeah. Half your
So,
life ago.
I have been working at the Fisher for 27 years. And half of my life is here. And I started feeling I want to do something as a community member, not from a representative of Fisher. So I'm here today. So I'd like to offer some idea of as individual. I have been working in tourism industry past 27 years. And then for Guam, tourism industry is being said number one biggest industry besides construction and some military. However, I don't think not many local people feel benefit from having a tourism industry on this island. But nowadays, the tourists coming here, their action is changing. Maybe people remember they used to take bus, goes to certain spot, and then going back to hotel. That was tourism. Nowadays, people start acting on individual traveler. They book rent a car, they going around, they go to Iranahan, and they pass here, they stop by Fisheye, and then I'm not sure if you guys know, Piti now has very famous sightseeing spot called Emerald Valley. Nobody named it, nobody promoted, but the tourist itself in Guam yet. So I wanted to offer some idea here. Basically, I'm here tonight. Another reason I'm here tonight is to support the science group. So since I'm running, I'm responsible one of the private businesses, Fisher Marine Park. I have a limitation to do something, and it is my responsibility because I have to keep going, feeding employee, like generating enough income, maintain that facility, and then so surviving this hard time, it's very tough responsibility. It's a little different from government side. Government has a budget, and then so we can schedule everything through budget. Private side, no, we have to generate money. If no customer coming here, and I cannot say to my employee, sorry, tomorrow your job is done. I don't want to do that. So all of my responsibility is maintaining that responsibility for employment and also maintaining facility. So which makes my contribution to local community kind of limit because I cannot do more than what I can offer. In the past, Fisher Marine Park accommodated complimentary viewing for all of beach cleaning every year, no matter how many people. So the people goes to Ocean Day, I don't know the name, there is one day,
Coastal cleanup.
Coastal Cleanup Day, goes to beach clean, and they have t-shirts or some kind of ticket. They come to Fisheye, it's entirely free. We don't count the number, so everybody okay. So that's what we can do, because it doesn't cause any additional money for fishery. So that's which we can do. Another contribution we could do is local field trip. DOE make reservation to us, and any school kids, school organization, everything complimentary. So that's in the past 25 years. I don't know how to marketing it, so I don't go to newspaper saying fish eye accommodate this school. We don't do that. But that's our heart is. Kids come, and then so we want to make sure that so they have an opportunity to see our unique underwater environment. I'm from Tokyo. I live in Tokyo. As you might know, Tokyo Ocean, majority of place is soy sauce color.
What?
Literally, soy sauce color. It's so polluted. So many people, right? So polluted. Color is brown. Our ocean is brown. That's the reason why tourists coming here. So nice turquoise blue, clean water, and then the tourists love it. But there is no connection. Okay. I attended several science meetings in the past. So there is a report, very concerning report. In the past, the number of coral living in around our ocean reduced a lot, depleted a lot. One reason might be global warming, temperature goes up, and the coral starts dying. And then when it happens, we are losing our natural resource, which is very, very good resource to attract the tourists and also for local community. When coral dies, and the number of fish going down, so maybe so people who used to go fishing, they might see, oh, what happened? The fish we can fish is now small, not big. In Palau, there is a huge Napoleon fish. And so many tourists goes over there to watch Napoleon fish. I never seen huge Napoleon fish in Piti Bay. During the past 2 years, I snorkel more than 350 days for 2 years because I didn't have much things to fish. So I snorkel. Yeah. So 350 days, I was surprised myself to watch a report. Even this morning, I brought my 12 years old daughter swimming together. We don't see big fish. It's all small. And that concerns me a lot. Okay, Guam has natural beauty, natural resource, which maybe local people don't notice yet how much value in it. That attract foreigner who doesn't have coming over here. More than 1.3 million every year, number of tourists, right? So I really want support that science team. So that team is planning to create a center. And so another thing maybe not many people know is this Piti Bay is epic as a center of ocean protection. So those folks created coral, what called like a nursery, coral nursery. I snorkel several times, and then it's a very nice structure. I see like 3 or 4 big nursery. The hundreds of thousands of coral is hanging in the water, so it's growing little by little. And then they tested to plant it on many locations.
So, Tommy-san, I don't mean to interrupt, but did you understand? I don't think I shared it with you, and I don't know if you know about coral nurseries out there.
Just now.
Maybe it's a good thing they don't know.
Well, we don't want people getting tangled in them.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to share, or what I wanted to make sure you knew of is that he's interested. I mean, he shares a lot about that with me. So it's good information.
Yeah. So for future generation of local people, for people living in this island, I think it's very important to support that science team, which try to continue maintain this beauty of coral reef. And what I can offer is from tourism side, business side. As some of the presenter mentioned, maintaining facility is very costly. The Tepungan Beach Park facility, that is always locked, restroom, and also pavilion. Those facility, we are the one to build it as a part of the development condition. We develop it and then we create it, we donate it to public, government of Guam, and then public,
Sure.
Parks and Rec is
Parks and Rec.
handling.
Yes.
I never seen that the restroom is open in the past 25 years, almost always closed, because it's very costly.
Yes.
So let's assume we do have a great science team project, right? So I'd like to connect how to generate income to sustain that project.
Mhm.
And also, I hope we can create some income generating activity over there for the benefit of the local community. So what I can offer is I can offer all of my expertise in the past 27 years. I know all Korean tourism market, I know Japanese market, I know how to attract the tourists here, how to sell it, I know it, how to generate money. I do have experience at the managing restaurant. Fisher Marine Park has several restaurants at the Tomo area. So I know how to manage restaurant business too. And then I don't need anything. So this is from my thank you to local community, and then I can put my idea or I can support planning session. So this is not from Fisher's offer. This is from my offer to support the local community. So I know that this is just early stage of planning session. Normally, when we do project, so first like we need to create concept. We need to bring out idea. So maybe local community has a lot of thoughts, how we can maintain the benefit of using that price for our own people, local children. That's one thought. Another thought might be how we can generate enough income to benefit of the village. Like maybe if I know that the government of Guam always has a limitation on the budget, but the village itself has income source. Of course, it's gonna help for village, right? And then so that need some kind of private commercial activity there. But doing commercial activity is difficult too. But I can put my expertise in it. I don't need anything. I'm not asking to get like sales agreement or consulting, not like that. I just wanna help. So therefore I came here. I totally support their team's idea. And then this is the beginning of open like concept creating session. So it's good to have an open conversation to discuss what is the benefit of a PT village and also for future generation of Guam. So that's what I wanted to offer. And I'd like to apologize if Fisher couldn't show enough contribution to local community. So that's my apology. Yeah. So currently I do have a good sign from tourism side. Korean, the government lift mandatory quarantine when tourism going back, which means starting next month, we started seeing Korean tourists going around island. And maybe 2 months later, Japanese tourists follows. So Fisher is now ready to be open again. And then this is perfect timing for PT Village to start creating concept for that land use.
Yes.
Yeah, and then so they need to have a lot of discussion. And then so we can generate a great plan for PD Village. And also, I really want to support the science team. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anyone have any questions for him at this point or anything?
Good. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
But if you could just hang on, our meeting will not be too much longer. Likewise. So those are the three proposals. Now, there were certainly other proposals for the property, but I did request for them to send me that in writing. And because they did not, we'll entertain it as it comes along. What you do need to know is I'll certainly be following up with the governor's office to see the process, right? How soon we're going to we're gonna see all of that happen. I'm hoping it'll be soon. And then we can take it from there. What Kathleen had mentioned regarding the SEDS plan, and I think Yvette is familiar with that, for the planning portion, that's definitely crucial for us because we want to make the right decision for the property. And I think hearing at least these two concepts might help you consider more what you want to do with the property. I did appreciate that with the UOG team and then with Tony-san, because we looked at of course, JG and Charles and John, it's obvious that they probably have the money to support it. With the UOG team, it's a collaboration, and with Tony-san wanting to support that, there's the different mechanisms that could actually work that process out. So we don't have to discuss it further if you don't want to at this point, but we certainly can have another meeting to talk about how you feel. Is that we would want to do? Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on. The street naming request in the back of the agenda, it was clear that we received this request actually maybe a year or two ago. But this is a new request on February 22nd, 2022. So I'm not sure if the newer members are familiar with it, but I did send it to you for your information, right? So you can take a look at it. Because it is addressed to us, I did want to entertain it. I do want to also say that we don't have any streets to be named. We don't have any new streets. If we had any new streets, I'd certainly let you know. So if we're going to name streets, we would have to rename a street. So I guess I'm going to ask the council how you feel about renaming a street.
We went through a process the last time of the renaming of the other streets in Hill, and also here in the village.
Microphone.
Let's just do the same process, we'll get supporting volunteers, supporting statements from our village people.
Okay, but there's no street,
Right.
the letter is just requesting to name a street after this person, but there is no
Just identify a street.
Correct,
Oh.
right, so the requester is asking us to identify a street, but what I'm letting you know is that we don't have any new streets, unless you want to make one, we don't have any new streets. And there are no streets that are unnamed at this point.
Is it someone from our village?
Correct. Correct.
The honoree to be someone from our village?
Correct. Yes, that's what's listed, or that's what's mentioned on the letter. And then, I'm not sure if the newer members know, but the request came in again maybe a couple of years ago, and the concern or the request was also to consider something other than a street, remember? I don't know if, yes? Right, because it was during the pandemic, yeah. So yeah, we had a public hearing during Zoom, on a Zoom, right, remember that? And so then the request was, well, there's no street, can name something after this person. But none of us have identified that something. So, no one wants to rename a street at this point.
I don't make it seem like it's such a personal thing, but my street is two streets with the same name. Ocean Summer Job. The road for it. We're both Ocean Summer
No, well, to be fair, you might want to keep it that way because there's not that many people that go in there. You might want to leave it, I mean, Brad, yeah, okay. Well, does anyone have any thoughts?
Yeah, maybe what you can do is just kind of create a list of these types of requests that come through, because our village continues to grow, and so as new streets come up, perhaps we can include the list And then you can present that to the council at the time when those new streets are available and so that we're not stuck with A, B, C, D, E, F, street available.
That's a great idea. Everyone agree? Any objections to that?
No.
Okay, so we'll keep this in file on a list of names, proposed names for streets, in case we miraculously get new street. Well, I want to say that, we want to get new streets, right? Because that means we're building up. So, okay, well, that's what we'll do. Any announcements then? And I don't know if there's anyone else here from the public that wants to comment, no? That's fine. Okay, great. It is 7:07 and the meeting of the Piti Municipal Council is now adjourned. Thank you.
Yes.
Are we done? Okay, now let's.